I'm sorry, this is the one that you've, I'm sure, been asked a million times. But Brainbuster Pro Wrestling, he says, memories of working with Kaientai and the angle involving Yamaguchi trying to cut off your dick with a samurai sword. So before we go to obviously that bit, how come you were so involved with the entirety of Kaientai as a feud for months on end? It seemed.
Well, that's a good question. At the time, the writers were, they had storylines written for pretty much every single match on the card. And it just seemed like, with my match, the storyline writers, I think for the storyline writers, it was a fun character to write for. For the guys that were there at the time, like Vince Russo and his crew of guys, and it just seemed like they had every week I'd come in and they'd have more the storyline continue, and it just kept going and going. And they were pushing the envelope at the time, and that was what I would consider, fitting the bill for pushing that envelope. Is the whole Kaientai Val Venis, Choppy Choppy the PP storyline off. I remember getting to the arena that night. They told me they were gonna, do the old chopping block thing, and I was like, "Are we really putting this on TV?" And they're like, "Yup," and I'm like, "Wow, I can't believe that." I had no issues with it at all. I just couldn't believe we were going to create it and it was actually going to go out on TV. I was amazed by that. I was like, I can't believe we're really doing this. And when it actually went out, I was, broadcast and I watched it back. I was like looking at it, I go, man, we created that. And that's an envelope pushing, I guess you could say, memory created for a lot of fans that even to this day, I mean, that's one of the most popular storylines that people come up and speak to me about is the choppy choppy, the PP angle. You know what I mean? So it was a memory creating time in WWE where all the memories that were created for the fans, I think, and I'm not trying to blow my own horn here because obviously I'm just one of the actors in the piece of this puzzle. The writers are the ones that created all this. But it's memories that's created in the fans' minds where the Kaientai Choppy Choppy the PP thing, I think, will be in people's minds till the day they take their last breath on planet Earth.
Mm.
And it's to be a part of that. I mean, how many people on this planet can say I was a part of a storyline that so many wrestling fans will remember for the rest of their lives? Not a lot of people can say that. And it was an honor to be a part of that. We had writers, everything was in place. The writers were in place, and the writers were on their game. The talent was in the right place at the right time, and they were on top of their game. And it just seemed to work out really well, really, really well.
Yeah, I'm going to be bringing some more of that up in a couple of minutes. I'll stick with not the choppy choppy. The amount of times you said choppy choppy your pee with a straight face as well. It just goes to show you just how many times you've had to say those four words.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever get friendly or anything with any of the Kaientai group? Because obviously Taka and Funaki stayed around for a while. Then there was Wally Yamaguchi-san, who I believe died not too long ago. In fact, but I think wasn't he like a photographer in Japan or something like that, or was he a manager in Japan? Where did he come from?
Yamaguchi-san?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yamaguchi-san. I guess he'd been, in the Japanese wrestling industry for quite a while. So he came out of Japan. But I rode with Taka a little bit here and there. Taka and I, we were decent friends back then. We still online every once in a very blue moon we'll say, hey, what's up, chat. We just did the whole 25th anniversary of the Kaientai thing. We talked back and forth online a few times about that. Taka to me was the guy I was most closest to, and I think it was because we had the same connection to Victor Quinones in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. I was wrestling for Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico, and I had met Victor down there. Victor's one of the guys that was an integral part of getting me moved into Mexico from Puerto Rico. And Taka Michinoku was already working with Victor Quinones at the time. So that was really my first time meeting Taka was in Puerto Rico. And so, I knew Taka, quite a bit before I even got to WWE, but he was the guy I knew the most out of all the other guys. Yeah.
I've heard this story as well once, that Taka would pretend that he didn't know as much English as he actually did. Is that true?
Yeah, he was a smart guy. When he didn't want to do something, it was like, huh, 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 Um, but I don't know. I never really had an issue with that at all. I mean, we talked because he spoke Spanish more than he did English at the time, and so and Tajiri too. Tajiri was another one. I could speak more in Spanish to them than I would in English, believe it or not. And so I never had an issue with that. But did other guys possibly? Possibly, I've heard stories about other guys having issues with communicating with them.
A couple more things on the same thing. Mrs. Yamaguchi, she was in, as you were on storyline, in and out very quickly.
Yeah.
Where did she come from?
From what I understand, she was a model. They hired her from a modeling agency. I think that's what she came for. From what I can recall, that's what I was told. She came from a modeling agency. I don't think she was in wrestling per se at any point in time, other than WWE.
And the last one, working with John Wayne Bobbitt, of all people, for that 1 week. Did he even
Ugh.
understand what was... Tell me the story.
Oh, this guy, I'll tell you, hey, any guy that goes and actually in real life gets the choppy choppy the PP done, hey, I got all the empathy in the world for you. But this guy, honestly, I got to be fair here. I can't say specifically that he's the dumbest man I've ever met in the world, because I really, other than what he came in for, the few times with WWE to do some stuff with us, I don't know the guy. But I can tell you this: the several hours that I spent with him backstage, I came to the conclusion this is literally the dumbest human being on the planet, literally. And you start to get the idea of why his ex-wife would go to the extent of, committing a crime against him like that. But the only thing I can think of when I think of that man, John Wayne Bobbitt, is the dumbest man I've ever met. Literally, there's no other easy or nice way to put it. I mean, he was cool. He wasn't causing problems. He was all right just to hang around. But when he opens his mouth, nothing but dumbness comes out. I mean, to the point where you're like, oh my God, just get me away from this guy. It's literally the dumbest man I've ever met in my life.
Well, I mean, did he not even understand his role? Like, walk out here, look sad. Could he not even get that, or was it just other things he was saying rather than production issues?
He really didn't really do a whole lot out in front of that camera, that's for sure. But regardless of that, it was all about the big Val Boski anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was the stuff he was saying backstage. I mean, this guy 24/7, the hours that I spent with him, it was nothing but dick jokes that weren't even funny. But he would laugh, he would say his own joke, and then he'd burst out laughing at it. And I'm standing there looking at him like straight face, like, am I missing something here? You know what I mean? Like, why are you laughing at your own joke? And I don't even get it. You know what I mean? And other people are walking by going, really, is he doing that? And yeah, it was the dumbest man I've ever met. Literally the dumbest man.